Hi everybody, Carrie Baughcum here. Welcome back into my classroom. Super excited as always for you guys to be here with me today. Today I want to talk to you about side quests. So side quests are these things that games give players. It's a quest to go out and go on an adventure that's separate from the game and has no bearing on their status within the game. But when players go out and they participate in these side quests and they are successful at them, the game gives them items or something that will help them improve their status in the game that they can bring back to the game and play some more. Quests are something that you hear talked about a lot when it comes to gamification. I talk about it with my friends who gamify their classrooms all the time. You'll hear about them on XP Lab Chat, and they're kind of been like the fountain of youth for me. That's that thing that I know is out there that is wonderful and can give you back this amazing thing, but I just can't find it. I just can't get it right. And I'm determined to get it right. And every year I try. And actually for the first year of gamifying, even the second, I was like, I'm not doing side quests because my kids won't do them and they're not gonna work. And then I was like, yes, they can work, I can do it. And I tried it, and I failed. And then last year, I tried a few, and I had a little bit of nibbles. And so this year, I'm bound and determined to have more success with my side quests, more consistent interaction with them, more feedback from the game to the students, and more desire for my students to want to engage in these extra quests, these extra opportunities to seek knowledge and skill, to gather skills, and that the game will reward them with items and XP for their endurance and for their grit and for their willingness to take an adventure. And so I've kind of taken a different approach with my side quests this year, and I really wanted to share with you what I'm doing. One thing I'm doing with side quests is I'm taking a very simple approach to them. And ELA, whatever we're covering during that week, that's what the side quest is about. It's a skill that reinforces whatever we're doing in that classroom, but it takes it up a level. It's not just as simple as demonstrating the skill, it's having the skill and then applying it even further to what they're doing. I'm also making sure it's a task that is short and accessible, and that they can complete it with not too much endurance and not too much need to endure through the activity, and that they can get rewarded from the game for their quest. The second thing I'm doing with side quests is I'm making one static, meaning that side quest will be there for the whole year and it'll never change. At least in my mind right now, it will not change. So for math, I'm gonna have word problems that are gonna be tiered, and depending on what you pick, that impacts your items that you get to pick from or that you get to interact with on this side quest. And that side quest will remain the same for the whole year. It will be math word problems, and the gameplay and the interaction with it and the strategy that students will have to use when they're playing it will remain the same for the whole school year. The third thing I'm doing is I'm taking my passion for mini games, these little offset games that you play in games that give you items, and I'm turning them into side quests that my students can interact with. And so the first one that I've done this year is I was at Goodwill with my daughter, and we found In a Pickle. In a beautiful box, you guys, barely used, and we found it for $1. And I was like, I know it's a great game. I've played it with my students before. I've played with my daughters, and we love it. But how can I turn it into a side quest? So I took In a Pickle and I applied a whole level of my theme on top of that game. To discover this frequency, they pick an envelope that looks like this, radio frequencies. And then I just added a special code just to theme it out some more. And they pull in here, and there's 7 cards from the game In a Pickle. And then if you're familiar with In a Pickle, your job is to make the biggest group and then convince people why that group is bigger than the next group, than the next group, than the next group. So my students have to know their groups, they have to know their language skills, they have to be able to convince me, tell a story, negotiate, sell me on this story that they have, right? So here's water and chaos and television. Oh my gosh, those are really good ones. So which one's bigger? It could be argued, right? Water is all over the world, but chaos is everywhere in the galaxy. So chaos is bigger than water. And then television, they're only in houses and they're not all over the whole world. And that could be the next biggest. So the longest chain of in a pickle groupings they can make, the bigger payout they get for XP. So my students get to go on these side quests during their passing period. They can do it during their resources or study hall time, or they can take them home and do them after school. And then when they bring them back to me, they are rewarded with XP or items. So I'm super excited for these new spins. I'm really trying to layer on more elements of my theme and adding more elements of my storyline throughout the side quests so that I can take this really big, awesome experience into the galaxy and make it smaller within my classroom, but then also give the students opportunity to interact with elements and characters from the game. So I'm super excited to see what happens. I don't make big announcements about my side quests. They just arrive and they sit there and I wait for students to explore them, to ask questions about them, to engage with them, and then I wait to see what happens. And I think sometimes that's the hardest part, but for me that is just so fun to wait and see that first student unlock that side quest and unleash its awesome for the rest of the students. Love to hear if you use side quests in your classroom. If you do, what's your favorite one? I would love to hear ideas for side quests and how you use them in your classroom. If you haven't used them, what's still your struggle? I would love to idea talk to people about side quests and what works and what doesn't. All right, you guys, I could talk forever about creating in gamification, and I am having so much fun creating with side quests, but that is it for today. So until next time, remember, whether it's bringing out the best in your students, learning, creating, or just being you, there are no rules. Later, guys.